What you are about to watch may make you question everything you thought you knew. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, welcome back. Now you might have noticed a few changes around here. We got a new intro, a new background, same shirt. But the main thing that is going to change with these conspiracy videos is I'm going to go even darker. So if you are triggered by suicide or murder or possible abuse of children in Hollywood, then you might want to leave this video. Now today we're going to talk about a lot of different theories. Some involving the secrets of Apple, some involving a possible World War III. And we're even going to talk to the star of Riverdale, Madelaine Petsch, about some of the very disturbing Riverdale conspiracy theories. Alright you guys, let's get into it. That's right, we're starting with Apple conspiracies. And you might have noticed another little thing I added. Before every conspiracy from now on, I'm going to put a little believability scale. 1 Illuminati sign means this shit's stupid. But 5 Illuminati signs means this isn't even a theory. This is a fact. And that's exactly what this first one is. So we have been talking about Apple purposely slowing down our phones every time they have a new one coming out forever. And then recently we learned that it's true.
Today's Tech Bites, Apple admits to slowing down older iPhones.
So Apple says it slows down the processors on older iPhones to prevent battery issues that could cause the phones to suddenly shut down or restart.
Now over the years, there's been tons of studies about this. Every time a new iPhone comes out, the Google search results for why is my iPhone slowing down skyrocket. Well, people started going from theorizing to actually pursuing lawsuits against Apple. And because of all these lawsuits, Apple finally admitted what we knew all along. As lithium batteries age, they get weaker. So we had to slow the phone to avoid the phones crashing to compensate for the naturally deteriorating battery. Or in other words, we purposely slow down your phones, you fucking idiots. And the only reason they admitted this was because they were getting sued. And it makes you wonder, what else are they hiding? I mean, think about it. Apple owns us. They have our private photos, our voice memos, our fingerprints, our face scans. And they claim that they keep it all private, but they also claim that they didn't slow down our phones, so... Life imitating art. We've seen it over and over again. Donald Trump being the president on The Simpsons, and then Donald Trump being president in real life. A statue in the 1600s, and then Lindsay Lohan passed out in 2007 outside a club. And then of course a crazy one, Walter White on Breaking Bad. And then right after the show premiered, there was a real Walter White, who got caught building a massive meth empire in Alabama. And then sometimes there's ones that are too dark to even think about. But I said we were gonna go there, so let's go. Now back in 2008, a woman named Jodi Arias murdered her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander.
Travis Alexander never had a chance.
And she did this by stabbing him 29 times, slitting his throat, and then shooting him in the head. Now the craziest part about this murder is she was taking pictures while she was doing it. Now Alexander was in the shower, and Jodi walked into the bathroom holding a digital camera. Well, then she opened up the shower door and started taking pictures of him. Now she said it was just for fun.
I was like, I just have an idea. I saw this thing in a Calvin Klein ad once that looked really good.
And this is the darkest part. Here's the picture she took right as she pulled out the knife. And this is the last picture of him alive. That picture is so terrifying to me. The look on his face, the subtlety of it, fear, confusion, it's just awful.
The one that you showed me yesterday of him looking right at you, I think that's a great picture.
Well, the next picture after that is him on the floor after he has just been stabbed. Now you're probably wondering, Shane, what does this have to do with life imitating art? Well, when all of these pictures came out, people started noticing that it looked familiar. Now I'm sure you guys remember the famous scene from the movie Psycho, where the main character got stabbed to death in her shower. Well, then people started taking the famous shots from that scene and putting them next to the last pictures of Travis. And they are eerily identical. And I don't think it was premeditated. I don't think Jodie went into that saying, oh, I want to remake Psycho. I think the universe has a way of connecting things like that. They say directors have a vision. Well, what if Alfred Hitchcock did have a vision? And in his vision, he saw this scene happening, so he recreated it in his movie. But what if that vision was of Travis? What if the universe put that in his head? What if that's what happened with The Simpsons? Or with Breaking Bad? It makes you think, what if everything is planned out, and everything is connected? And what if we can look at art and try to predict what's going to happen in the future? I mean, if there's a movie called World War III, life will definitely imitate that, and probably soon. Now, we've talked about news channels faking things for a long time. They've been caught setting up a crime scene and filming in front of it, even though it didn't exist.
As many as 4 bodies may be buried here.
It can get really fucked up really fast. On June 4th, CNN got accused of staging an anti-ISIS protest in London. Now, this is a behind-the-scenes clip, and it's insane. So first you see them setting up the shot of the protest. Then you see the producers putting all of the protesters in their place. And then you see the producers laying down flowers in front of the protesters' feet and putting flowers in their hands. And then moments later, you see what it looks like on the actual news.
What I want to show you now, viewers, is a wonderful scene. There are flowers on the street here, ladies with hashtag turn to love.
Yeah. They literally act like, oh, here we are, we just caught a protest. We saw them placing people. We saw them handing them signs, putting flowers at their feet. Now, of course, CNN came out and said, no, it was not fake. We just set up a shot and we had some of the protesters from over there come over here. And maybe that's true, but it's hard to believe the news sometimes when they do things like this.
Good morning. Well, obviously we're getting a nice break from the rain, but not the flooding. This is essentially now a part of the Passaic River in this neighborhood.
Yeah, she was in a fucking canoe. Just to scare everybody. Oh my god, the water's so high, we're in canoes! But one of my favorite moments of the news getting caught faking something happened with Nancy Grace. Now in this clip, Nancy Grace is doing a satellite interview with another reporter. Kinda looks similar, right?
I want you to pay attention to the red truck and the bus. Red truck, bus.
Nancy Grace and the woman she's having a satellite interview with is in the same parking lot.
You see this red SUV drive behind Ashley Banfield and then immediately behind Nancy Grace.
And not just the same parking lot. 3 parking spots away from each other. What? Why did they do a satellite interview? Why are they faking that? I mean, that one's insane. But the biggest scandal of all time when it comes to faking the news is this clip. Back in 1990, a CNN reporter named Charles Jacko was covering the Persian Gulf War. Now, he's supposedly in Saudi Arabia outside of a hotel. Well, then an angry staff member at CNN leaked this clip years later.
Let me say hi. Geopolitics by Dan Quayle.
I know what you're thinking, well, maybe they're just having fun. But then he starts playing with what looks to be a prop of a missile.
This is a Scud. Now, when you detect this, you can tell it's been launched. Thank you.
I know. Like, what? Well, then he starts playing with his emergency mask.
Let me just size my mask and fit it for a second, just like I always do.
It seems kind of like a set, right? There's no wind. When the camera pans over, you see some wood. It almost looks like a fake wall. Well, but then you see what it looks like when he's reporting live.
Because of military regulations, we are not allowed to show you where the missiles might be going.
Wow, that's different. He's panicking, holding his earpiece. Well, remember earlier in the clip when he was asking whether or not he should test out that face mask? You're about to find out why.
CD, if you need to take cover, I notice that you've got your gas mask in your hands. If you need to put it on, please do so. If you need to take cover.
I'd say...
I mean, come on. Now you're probably wondering, what did that man say when this clip started to go viral? Well, he sent an email to the person that posted the clip, and he said this. Our coverage was on the roof of a hotel. The plywood background was erected as a guard against the sand and windstorms. And the clowning around in the video is just that. We use black humor to deflect the tension of covering Scud missile assaults. And then he showed some pictures of what the actual hotel in Saudi Arabia looks like. And it looks pretty similar. You have the blue walls, you have the palm trees, you can even see the plywood that they set up to guard from the winds. And as much as I hate to say this because you know how much I love a conspiracy, I believe him. I mean, all the proof is there. It was years ago. Why would he still lie about it? But man, oh, that clip was weird. Side note, that's something I want to start incorporating more into these videos too. If I find out that a theory I've talked about has been debunked, I want to bring it up because I think people should be looking deeper and deeper into them. And not just thinking everything is true, because some of these theories end up being bullshit.
Boy, did I almost look stupid.
I know what you're thinking. Shane, how are there conspiracy theories about wildfires? I had the same question, and then I fell down the hole on the internet, and oh my god. So as you already know, there have been so many fires spreading through California the last few months. And some of the footage is insane. Right off the freeway, an entire mountain filled with flames. Celebrities' houses getting evacuated.
Thank God for this event this morning because I got up at 5:30 and everyone came to the house and they're like, we need to leave.
And the fires are incredibly spread out, but some of the footage of the aftermath had a lot of people confused.
So the recent California fires are very strange and suspect. In drone footage of the aftermath, we see houses completely obliterated and turned to ash while the surrounding landscapes and trees are totally fine.
That's right. If you look at some of this footage, all of the houses are completely leveled, but then all the trees in the neighborhood are fine.
You'll notice here that stores and restaurants are wiped out while other things are still in perfect shape.
Well, then I looked into it, and a couple scientists came out and said, well, the trees are wetter than usual, so that's why they're not that flammable. But then I did a quick Google, and I found a lot of videos of neighborhood trees burning down to nothing. Now, one of the craziest clips I think I've ever seen is a clip of a tree that a guy found that was burning from the inside out.
A haunting but mesmerizing scene from the wildfires in Sonoma County. A man came across this tree burning from the inside out.
Now, that situation doesn't happen in a forest fire. The only time trees really burn like that is when they're struck by lightning. I know, that was intense. But this is what the trees look like right after that. Yeah, they look exactly like the tree that supposedly caught fire during one of the wildfires. So you're probably thinking, Shane, where is this going? One word: lasers.
Laser.
Okay, hear me out. I know this sounds crazy, and I 100% thought it was bullshit until I really started looking into it. Now, the theory is that the government might have been testing out some direct weapons. Now, these weapons would be in the form of lasers, and the damage they would cause would be way worse than any fire could do. Imagine if the government did figure out how to do laser weapons, what kind of damage they could do to their enemies.
Here's a laser at a power of 1 watt.
A 1 watt laser can light a match. Imagine then the power of a 500 trillion watt laser. That's exactly what they've built here at the National Ignition Facility in California.
Yeah, that's right. They literally are building that giant laser in California. Now, this is the craziest part. In a movie back in the 80s called RoboCop, this happened.
Top story, Santa Barbara. 10,000 acres of wooded residential land were scorched in an instant when a laser cannon aboard the Strategic Defense Peace Platform misfired today during routine startup tests.
Literally, laser weapons hit the same exact locations that the California wildfires are. And here's the thing that's even crazier. When a fire burns down a house, it still leaves some of the house. Yeah, it's black and yeah, it's all fucked up, but there's a little bit of structure still there. But when you look at the aftermath of these California wildfires, there is nothing. Not just houses have been leveled down to the ground, but even cars. Glass and metal have been melted. So how could glass and metal in these cars be melted? How could these houses be leveled down to nothing? Lasers. Now, remember earlier when I showed you that clip of the tree that was burning from the inside out? Now, supposedly that happened from the wildfires, but it looked more like it happened from getting struck by lightning. And what did that clip look like? Lasers! There's even tons of clips of people saying that their own house lit on fire, but nothing around them did.
There was no other fire around us. It just caught some of the shrub, I guess embers, I'm not sure.
And to this day, we still don't know the true reason why all of these fires so far apart from each other happened. Yeah, they're saying the high winds and the dry land, but these specific fires were some of the biggest fires in history. And this is the final thing I heard that made me think maybe this isn't complete bullshit. Now, Trump is all about winning. If we go into a war, he wants to conquer it.
I'm really good at war. I love war in a certain way.
If we have a big weapon, he probably wants to make it bigger.
Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
So if he found out that the government did have the capability of laser weapons, and he knew that North Korea is really wanting us dead right now, then why wouldn't he want to do a test and see how the lasers worked?
I want to be unpredictable.
But obviously he can't test it on another country because then that would start a war. And what place in his own country does he hate more than anywhere else? Los Angeles.
Some celebs are just not a fan of the Donald.
He despises the people in Hollywood. He despises celebrities because they all talk shit about him.
He loves tweeting about KFC and beautiful chocolate cake and put them all together and this is what you get.
So why wouldn't he press that button and say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's blow up LA.
It's lasers!
Because if you remember, some of the most affected people by these fires were celebrities.
Comedian Chelsea Handler tweeted, "Just evacuated my house. It's like Donald Trump is setting the world on fire."
So not only did Trump get to test out these laser weapons, but he got to get some revenge on some of his Hollywood enemies.
I'm about to rock this place down.
Now listen, I know that all sounds very crazy, but let's not forget about life imitating art.
10,000 acres of wooded residential land were scorched in an instant when a laser cannon misfired today during routine startup tests.
So there has been some pretty dark rumors about some people in charge over at Nickelodeon for a while. And recently, a thread on Twitter started to go viral. Now, besides the fact that there are some pretty sexual and creepy images in some of these Nickelodeon shows, there's also some very creepy jokes that probably shouldn't be in a kid's show.
One time my brother found a vacuum cleaner in our church basement. He took it home and now he keeps it in his room. Well, you should call the church and tell me he has it. Oh, they wouldn't want it back.
Yeah, she's referring to a young boy using a vacuum to suck his dick on a kid show. Now they also call out that the word hobknocker is used in iCarly.
Oh yeah, do you guys remember Wade Collins? That obnoxious hobknocker from America Sings?
Well, here is the definition of hobknocker. When a guy hits you in the face with his penis.
One might call him obnoxious. Oh, Carly. Anyway.
And then the thread goes on to show some more creepy visuals. I mean, this one is,
I'm thirsty.
And then we get to the foot fetish.
Dang, dude. That's some soft footage.
Oh, that's what I said.
I mean, really. Let's be serious here. That's a nice foot.
Right? I know.
Now, if you're a fan of some of these shows, you might remember that there's a lot of feet involved. In iCarly, you see one of the characters getting her foot rubbed. In Victorious, you see Ariana Grande literally trying to suck her own toes. And there's so many creepy foot moments in these shows. I mean, going to squirt ketchup on them. Miranda Cosgrove staring at them. Two young girls putting their feet up to the camera. There's even a behind-the-scenes picture of Ariana standing next to a foot, pointing at it. And then on the official Sam and Cat Twitter, it said this: Sam and Cat tomorrow. Right on the bottom of your foot, take a pic and use hashtag Sam and Cat Saturday. We'll retweet and follow until our fingers get sore. And a lot of kids did. All of these children wrote on their feet, took pictures of them, and posted them on Twitter. And then, of course, there's other moments in the show that look even more graphic. And then this.
Come on! Give up the juice!
But I think the foot thing is what weirds me out the most, because foot fetishes are a huge deal, and having kids show their feet and talk about it that much is fucking weird. And then of course there's little things, like if you look in the background of the episodes, you might see a hidden penis on a wall. I mean, it's not that big of a surprise that kids' TV shows might do some evil stuff. I mean, the fact that Disney approved a quarter ride that looked like this, it just proves that there might be some evil people in charge of kids' entertainment. And maybe they're trying to get in the minds of kids and make them evil. I mean, think about it. Who's the biggest kids entertainer right now? And would you say he's doing some pretty evil stuff?
We found a dead body.
Alright, so this is something new I wanted to start doing with these videos. With some of our conspiracies about TV shows and movies, I want to start interviewing people that are actually in them. So today we're going to be talking about some pretty disturbing Riverdale conspiracies with the star herself.
Wait, let me see. Do I get to pick?
Of course you did.
Okay, great. My hair looks like shit. Let's do it.
Okay guys, I am here with Madeline from Riverdale. Before we get into the conspiracies, because there's a lot of them about this show, I want to know about your life, because overnight you kind of skyrocketed, right?
Yeah, probably I would say a little over a year ago I had 40,000 followers on Instagram, and then I'm at like 4 something now, which is insane.
4 million.
In like 9 months.
Did the TV network make you do any like training or any classes, like this get ready for the
Fame?
internet? Yeah.
Yeah, we had to do media training, which was like intensive, like, what? This is so weird. We had to learn how to get out of a car without flashing.
What?
So there's like a very specific way where you cover yourself at the door of the car and then you get out with the opposite leg so that like your leg isn't like open, essentially.
There's a class for that?
Yeah, and you have to pass. Like you have to do it until you like you don't flash. It's a thing.
Is there a way to get out of a car without looking fat? Because I need that. Okay, Riverdale. It is surprisingly dark for a teen show.
Yeah.
But some of the conspiracy theories about this show go even darker than murder. And I want to talk about them.
I don't know what your conspiracy theories are, so now I'm like nervous.
Okay, so your character, Cheryl Blossom, has a brother named Jason.
I don't want to talk about this. Okay, yeah, go for it.
Now, he died in the first season. That's kind of what the whole first season is about. But there are a lot of theories that Cheryl and Jason might have been more than brothers and maybe lovers.
Yeah, that theory has been debunked by myself.
Well, have you seen all of the proof?
Proof?
So a video made by a YouTuber named JoVlogs started going viral, and some of the evidence is pretty crazy.
Damn, I should have made that video first.
Okay, so the first time that we see your guys' characters is in a car.
Tell me I'm your baby.
And the song says, "Tell me I'm your baby, tell me you'll never leave me, tell me that you'll kiss me."
That you'll kiss me.
Are you scared, Jason?
It's just a creepy song. That's why we played it.
But you guys are driving in the car together for the first time.
And we do hold hands when we walk down the river.
Jason and Cheryl Blossom drove out to Sweetwater River for an early morning boat ride.
I know. Do you want to know why?
Yes.
I can give you, is it going to be interesting for your video if I tell you why? Or do you want to keep it just like...
Well, there's a lot more than that, though. I mean,
give me the rest of it.
Okay, you call him your soulmate.
Right.
You guys share a milkshake together.
Correct.
And there's just a lot of creepy imagery of you guys looking at each other sensually, like you love each other, but way more than I've ever loved a sibling. And it definitely, from an outside perspective, feels creepy, incesty.
Well, we kind of got into that a little bit more in the second season, that it's more so about that Cheryl's actually abused by her parents. So he's kind of like her saving grace, and he's always been the only person who ever showed her love. So it's more about the fact that she's never been loved by anybody else, including her parents. But I get that it looks like that, and ultimately it was created to like look weird.
So you don't think it's ever gonna come back?
I think anything's possible in Riverdale is definitely the soundbite that I use a lot, because like you, literally anything is possible in Riverdale.
The last time I saw Jason, I was wearing this dress.
Okay. I talk about a lot of movie posters looking very similar, TV posters
It
looking
follows.
similar.
Is that what you're
Yes!
saying? I thought the same thing.
It's the same
No, I
exact
thought the same
poster.
thing when I saw the poster. I was like, it looks like it follows. And I'll be honest, our director, Lee Krieger, showed us a reel of all these different moods that he liked from different movies, and It Follows was one of the biggest moods that he was obsessed with. So it could have just been inspired by that.
It Follows was kind of one of the inspirations for the vibe of Riverdale. So that theory's right. So that poster is inspired by it.
Totally, I would say so, yeah.
Okay, there's another thing that people have been sending me about Riverdale. And I got confused even reading it myself, and I don't know if you've seen it. Okay, so it says, when I realized that Polly and Jason are in the same class, but Cheryl is Jason's twin sister, and Cheryl is in the same class as Betty, but Polly is older than Betty.
Interesting.
What does that mean?
What?
Wait, is that like a thing?
Anything's possible in Riverdale.
Well, there you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed the return of my conspiracy theory videos. I'm really excited to go deeper and darker. If you want that, please give me a thumbs up so I know. Also, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss one. Also, go talk about some of these theories in the comments. What do you believe? What don't you believe? And what keeps you up at night? Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for such an amazing 2017. And I can't wait to keep falling down dark holes with you this year. Ooh.
Click the links below to watch more conspiracy theory videos. At your own risk, of course.